Looking ahead to the November election, tonight we're talking to Senator Richard Blumenthal as he faces his challenger Leora Levy and the challenge of some of his lowest approval ratings in a decade-long career here in Connecticut, asking him the questions you want answered. But first, a starting problem plaguing schools as kids head back to the classroom. Are there enough teachers to lead them or bus drivers to get them there? We're looking at how and why school staffing shortages have gotten this bad. Good Sunday morning, and thanks for joining us on The Real Story. I'm Fox 61's political reporter, Emma Wolforst. It's officially back to school season, and some students are already at their desks, while others are getting their book bags packed to head back this week. After 2 years of pandemic-era learning, we know many people are wondering what this year will look like. You know your child will be back in the class in person, but will there be teachers? The severe teacher shortage is making back to school even more difficult for many districts right now. Educators are deserting the field for a number of reasons nationwide. Recruitment and retention have been challenging since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. A survey done earlier this year by the National Education Association found 55% of educators polled are thinking about leaving the profession earlier than they planned. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is reporting there are more than 386,000 teacher vacancies nationwide. That's up more than 100,000 from 10 years ago. Resignations account for 51% of the vacancies.
But frankly, it's been building for a good 10 years where I don't believe that we have, as a whole in America, Connecticut included, treated our teachers with the honor and respect that they deserve.
That's Fran Rabinowitz with the Connecticut Association of Public School Superintendents. She says there are still many openings in districts across the state right now, especially in urban and rural areas. Just here in the capital city, Hartford schools are trying to fill about 230 teacher vacancies. New Haven says they have about 300 open positions. So let's look at some of the reasons teachers are leaving the field or not going into it at all. The pandemic has exacerbated the problem, but educational leaders say the issue started long before 2020. The American Federation of Teachers reported almost 300,000 were leaving the profession before the pandemic. The average teacher salary in Connecticut about $80,000. Not only are teachers historically underpaid, but inflation has made a major impact. While the average teacher pay has increased 1.7% over the last school year, when it's adjusted for inflation, the average salary decreased nearly 4% over the last decade. That means teachers are making about $2,100 less than 10 years ago. And of course, pay looks different depending on districts' resources, meaning some are struggling more than others.
Another system, maybe in the suburbs somewhere, may be able to entice a teacher with more fun, more money than New Haven.
While there are hiring efforts across Connecticut, districts are trying to get creative to show appreciation and keep the teachers they have before the shortage gets even more severe. In New Haven, school employees received a $1,000 retention bonus, and the district says they will do that again in January. Hartford rolled out an incentive program with $1,000 and $500 bonuses as well, but some teachers say this isn't enough as they struggle to cover the vacancies, reach burnout, and had to fight for 30-minute uninterrupted lunch breaks this past legislative session. And it's not just teachers. The state needs to hire hundreds of bus drivers as well, urgently trying to fill yet another shortage schools have been struggling with for the past few years. They say parents will need to be patient since they're short-staffed. They'll have to consolidate routes, which means longer commutes. But they are also encouraging parents or anyone else to apply to be a part-time bus driver.
Just want to drive morning and afternoon, and you want to drive maybe 4 to 4.5, 5 hours a day, that's great. It's ideal. If you're looking for something that's going to get you closer to 40 hours, plenty of athletics, plenty of field trips.
If you're interested in applying, you can reach out to your local school district or bus company. The state also made a massive effort to make applying easier. It used to take months to get applications back. Now the required background check can be completed by the DMV in just a day. And they'll help you get your license too, which is now easier. Pay started around $19 an hour. Benefits can be offered after some time on the job. And as we get ready for back to school, Fox 61 wants to know your thoughts and concerns for the new school year. Use the QR code on your screen to go right to this survey. Our team will use that data to bring you the kind of relevant stories you need as the kids start a new year. Now let's take a look at some of the biggest stories in politics this week you saw right here on Fox 61. As college students prepare to head back to campus, President Biden announced a plan this week to deliver on his campaign promise of providing student loan debt cancellation for millions of Americans. Individual borrowers earning up to $125,000 annually and families whose earnings don't exceed $250,000 a year are eligible for the $10K loan break. Some estimates put the price tag for the student loan forgiveness program in the neighborhood of $300 billion. Many Quinnipiac students excited about the announcement this week, while others skeptical about the new policy.
I know Quinnipiac's a really expensive school to go to, and even with a scholarship, it's a lot of money. So, like, helping us out with 10 grand, forgiving 10 grand in debt could just really help out.
And if universities think that they can, that loans will get forgiven, could see very large increases in the price of higher ed going forward.
President Biden is also extending a pause on federal student loan payments through the end of this year. And now tensions running high in the state's gubernatorial race after a tie-break vote at Tuesday night's Independent Party caucus. Republican candidate Bob Stefanowski lost the Independent Party nomination in a tie-break vote, but Stefanowski says he's planning to challenge this result in court. Endorsed candidate Rob Hodeling won with a now contested tie-break vote from the Independent Party chairman. Stefanowski initially led Hodeling by 4 votes, 79 to 75, but a win requires 80. So party officials initiated a second ranked choice ballot, leading to the 79-79 tie. Stefanowski's team claims the Independent Party flagrantly violated their own bylaws and expects to bring a legal challenge of Tuesday's vote.
Guess what? He's still going to be on November 8th ballot. You can still vote for him. Last time I checked. So nothing's over. If anything, the will of the voters is more voter choice and ballot access for someone like me.
Stefanowski did receive the Independent Party's endorsement during his 2018 campaign, and this nomination is a major loss for him. His challenger, incumbent Ned Lamont, received cross endorsement from the Working Families Party, which he also had in 2018. Now Lamont could benefit from Hodeling on November's ballot if Hodeling can pull votes away from Stefanowski. And another contentious general election race, the U.S. Senate. Coming up on The Real Story, we're sitting down with incumbent Democrat Richard Blumenthal, looking ahead to his challenge on the November ballot, facing off against Trump-endorsed Leora Levy. She will be joining us on the show next week.